Awesome. We are glad that everybody's with us this morning. This is our Team Elevate team call. We I showed a slide a few moments ago with the thought from Wallace Wattles. It said the best thing you can do for the whole world is make the most of yourself. And that meshes really well with what Christian's going to go over today. His training is going to be becoming the real estate go-to person. And you know what? When you're the best that you can be, when you're the person that everyone can come to, you are creating value wherever you go. You can't help it. And make creating value is just second nature with Christian. He is such an awesome individual. He has made himself, or is still making himself the most that he can be. He is creating value wherever he goes, and it comes right from his heart. There's a caring there that cannot be denied. We appreciate what he's done. He has done so much for our team. He prepares hours and hours every week that can't even be counted, so that we can be successful in our businesses, so that we've got the events that we can go, that we get to invite our guests to. We can put on our best face for the whole world. Uh, Christian is someone that uh, he didn't start out super successfully, but he has definitely made a success of himself. He is making the whole community better, not only Renatus and Team Elevate community, but the communities in which he lives. He is just a positive person, and we're glad that he's with us this morning. Christian, how are you, sir?
I am amazing, Ron. How are you?
Fantastic. Glad to have you with us this morning.
Well, I'm glad to be here and grateful for you. Grateful for you to always be in here and starting off these calls and just making sure that we have good music starting off and positive messages and all that fun stuff. Help everybody understand what events are going on across the country so they know what they can plug into, what they can plug their guests into, and then just obviously the nice words you say obviously also feel good. So, folks, here's what I wanted to talk about today. A lot of people are they're stuck in this spot where they're simply looking for how do I generate leads? And it's an interesting conversation because a lot of times when they come to me and they say, well, where do your deals mostly come from? Where do your prospects usually come from? And I have to explain to them that a lot of times they come to me, right? They just show up. They contact me through Facebook, or they reach out, or I run into them somewhere and they say, hey, I'd really be interested in seeing more about what you do. It's that people think of me as the go-to person when they're thinking real estate. And for each of you, that's where I would want you to be within your circle and within your network. Guess what? You get to influence why people think about you, how people think about you. And a lot of it just is simply the conversations that you have. So there's a few things that you can do specifically to start this conversation on a little bit more of a, I think the word is omnipresent scale. Because what you want to do is you want everybody in your network, when something comes up about real estate, guess what? You want them to think of you. And, I actually dove deep into a training that I used to do with folks when they were coming on the team. And I think it's something that we've started to overlook simply because technology has taken over, right? I mean, we do so much with Facebook and with all the different social media platforms that I think most people usually think of those forms first. And I am actually going to share some of what you can do on Facebook, for example, and the ways of doing that. But the other thing that I want to do is I want you guys to think about, what if you did something dramatically different than what most people are used to? So let me ask you guys, when was the last time you got a nice hand-penned letter in the mail? If you've even gotten one recently, you know exactly who it was from and you probably know exactly what it said, right? And maybe hand-penned is going a little bit far. But when was the last time you actually just got a letter from somebody, a letter in the mail, like USPS, right? Coming to your door that, that was typed out by somebody that was just there to kind of catch up and fill you in on what they have going on in their life. It's almost a lost art, I believe. And if you think about it, if you can remember even the last time that you got it, it probably made you feel good, right? In fact, if you go back to when did you get anything that was written that was, that was just kind of personalized and written to you? And most of the time that comes these days in the form of like a card, right? Birthday card of some sort or some special occasion. But what if you went out there, it's really inexpensive, and you just created a letter that was personalized based on where you're at in the business, where you're at in your life, who you are, as a individual or as a couple, and you just sent that out to everybody that's in your network. Do you think that might get a response? And I'm not talking about a response where you're thinking, man, if I send out 1,000 of these letters, then I'm going to get, X amount of, leads back that are going to tell me they're interested. But what if you said it in a way where it opened up the door for people to think about you when it came to real estate, and it actually invited them to send you referrals? Well, let me just show you a letter that I got to let my dog in. It's snowing outside. I'm going to show you a letter that was created years ago by a husband and wife. And this letter turned into a whole lot of conversations about real estate. So it didn't necessarily turn immediately into leads. I'm going to warn you guys that up front, even though it looks as if it could, and it might for some of you. It might turn into a bunch of people that are saying, hey, I want to do that too. And that's great. You open up the doors to that, open yourself up to that possibility. However, part of it might be just opening up a conversation with those people that are in your network and continuing that conversation moving forward, right? Sometimes being able to just go to somebody and saying, hey, I just learned is, a great direct way to make the invite. Hey, I just learned, you get the intrigue, you guys know this stuff, and, once there's the intrigue, then you go through the conversation of inviting them. However, I also want you guys to think about, what if you just started opening up to your network about what it is that you're doing, so that when they thought real estate, they thought of you? Because that's where a majority of my leads come from these days. Now, sometimes it's not just my warm market. It's beyond that. It's people that know of me that tag me in things. It's people that say, oh, this person, you should get Christian to speak on your stage. It's all kinds of different things. So let me just get some videos out of here. Oops. All right. It's all kinds of different ways that people just think about me when they think real estate. And so when I had a family member who needed to get out of their house, it was actually making them sick. and they didn't want to put it on the open market. They didn't want people walking through their house. They didn't want, to do all that stuff. They just wanted to be, and they were considering walking away. When someone's in that position, when somebody's considering walking away, you want them to think of you. You want them to think that you might be the person, right? That, maybe I should reach out to Michael. Maybe I should reach out to Berta. Maybe I should reach out to Sandy or Linda or Salama or Meredith or David or Michael or Mike or Becky or Wanda or Jaime or Rebecca or Michelle or Deslin or Richard or Marilyn or Esther or Melissa or Ronnie or Kimberly or Athena, right? I could go on and on with all of you guys' names. You want to get to the point where people think of you first. And if it's not first, at least somewhere down the line when they have a real estate challenge or when they have somebody that they know that has a real estate question, they direct them to you. You don't have to have all the answers. I want to explain that to you right up front. You don't have to have all the answers. You just simply want to be that topic of conversation, because if you don't have the answer, you have the answer within this community. And sometimes the answer is, you're better off probably calling a real estate agent. Sometimes the answer is, here's, there's some ideas of how you might be able to solve this for yourself. Really, when I have somebody reach out to me, I ask a whole lot more questions than I do say anything, right? I will ask 10 questions just to get clarification on why they're actually reaching out to me in the first place. So I've kind of shared with you the concept and the idea, and let's talk about ways that you can get on people's mind, that you can be that person that they think about. And the first thing I want to share with you is this letter. Now, I want you to personalize this. Right? I want you guys to take this and personalize this to your particular situation. And so the couple that had put this together, this was really them, right? They typed this up. They asked me for some guidance. I helped them make some modifications, and it fits where they were at. So for them, they wanted to send out, starting off, they wanted to send out 100 of these, right? And that 100 turned into a whole lot of conversations. Because pretty soon, as they were going to their family parties, guess what? People were saying, how's that real estate thing going? When people, when they were out and about with their friends or having game nights, guess what? People were saying, hey, I got your letter. That was cool. I haven't gotten a letter in a long time. What's up with this real estate thing that you guys are doing? And here's the key. When those conversations come, you want to put yourself in the mode. You want to already be in the mode where you're excited about your business, right? I think a lot of people are cutting their self off at the feet simply by they're so wrapped up in judgment and comparison, right? Oh, well, this person's only been in here a week and he's already got a deal under contract. Oh, well, that person's been, been here as long as I have, and they've already made $100,000 and yada, yada, yada. And so when somebody says, hey, I saw that, I saw you've been doing real estate, how's that going? And you hum and you haw and you project this message. You actually project this message out there that I'm not confident in it. I'm not so sure about it. And guess what? If that's the case, if that's what you're projecting out there, you can expect a response. Even if you say all the right things, right? Even if you say all the right words, over 90% of our communication is nonverbal, okay? So one of the things that you can do to make this more effective, because if you're just going to start having these conversations, to make it more effective in having those conversations, you got to start celebrating every little win. Every little win. Now, some of you are like, well, geez, I've been pushing and pushing and I don't have a win. And I believe that's not true. If you are actually pushing and pushing, if you are actually taking the action, if you are actually watching your classes, you have a ton of wins. That's why the conversation, hey, I just learned, works so well, because you don't have to have, done anything magnificent. The fact that you're learning these concepts is huge. It's a huge win. It's beyond what the average person does. It's beyond what the average person strives to do. And so every time you learn something, that's a win. And if you can start celebrating that, these conversations are going to be a lot more effective. So let's go through this. Here's what, and it's hard for me to say it without saying their names. I actually had to come in here and edit it real quick so that I could, take their names out of there just to be, respectful that way. But I'll use the names John and Julie. That's easy enough. So they decided to write out 100 of these. And so this is what they, put it together as, and then they wanted to write it out. So it was, hey, and then whoever you're sending it to. We hope everything is going great in your life right now. Julie and I are doing wonderful and are very blessed. We're reaching out to all the people close to us to share some exciting career news in hopes that it may help some people we know. What we are excited about is our new path in building a business, investing in real estate. Here's how this may benefit you or someone you know. We're working with a large group of investors and have many ways of helping people with their housing needs. If you know anybody that may be looking for homes or looking for solutions with real estate issues, such as having trouble making their mortgage payments, being behind on their payments, owing more than the house is worth, needing to sell in a hurry, or any other issues, please send them to us. We can't help everybody, but we can help most. Please trust that we will only make recommendations that are in the best interest of all parties involved. We will keep all information completely confidential and, of course, pay very well for referrals that result in us buying or selling a house. We can be reached at, and then phone number, right? And they had a home phone number, and then they also had their own personal cell phone numbers. So then they said you can also have them contact husband directly at phone number and then email. Thank you much for reading. We wish you the best. And then they have their names in here. P.S. We are also expanding our investing team. If you know anyone looking to earn extra money working side by side with successful investors, please let us know. Now, as you can see, this is designed in a way to specifically get leads of problem properties, right? People that are having problems with their real estate. And down here at the bottom, people that want to learn real estate, people that want to understand these concepts. Now, there's so much more that you could add into this. Again, this letter was put together long before we had a lot of the financial literacy classes in our education. And so, you can tie that in. You can add that to your letter. Again, if you send out 100 of these, or what I suggested to them was don't just do 100, do 1,000, right? Figure out a way to connect with your, market where you can get 1,000 actual physical addresses and send them out that way. Now, I know that's a lot to handwrite, but the cool part about this is if you chose to, you could even do this task through Renata's iOS. You could actually, get your list of all the people you want to send it to, whether that's 100 or 500 or 1,000 or more. And you could actually have it look personally penned, right? You can have it to where a machine actually writes it out. And that's one thing that you could do. So lots of ways of doing this. You don't even have to handwrite it out either. You could type it, because even typing it is going to be, effective, especially if you at least handwrite the envelope. So that's just one idea. Now, all of you, I'm sure, are looking at this taking it to today's day of age, right? And you're saying, okay, yeah, that's cool sending out a letter, but it's a little different. And people are going to think it's weird. So what if I just took this and put it in Facebook? What if I throw it into an email? You can do all that. That's the cool part about it. You can take this and you can put it. So,
We lost audio, Christian.
We lost audio.
all right, I think I'm back. Apologize, guys. I'm not sure what happened there. All of a sudden I dropped, but hopefully you guys can hear me now. And let me get over here. Somebody else is sharing their screen. Ron, you might have to give me controls back if you're still on, because I got booted when I came back on. I don't have control anymore. All right, here is what I can do. Okay, you can hear me, but I wanted to be able to share my screen. I'm going to leave the meeting. I'm going to come back as the host. All right, hopefully you guys can hear me now, and hopefully I can take the screen. That looks like I can. Okay, I got the screen. Here's the letter. And I apologize for that, guys. For some reason, I didn't realize I wasn't sharing the screen. So let me just leave this letter up here for a second. We'll read through it again really quick, and then what I'll do is when Ron posts this recording into the Facebook group, if somebody will commit to going in there and reminding me once they see it on there to please share the letter, I'll actually share it in the comments of that post. So watch for the recording of this. When it comes onto the Facebook group, then just tag me in a comment and remind me to post this letter. I'll just make a copy of it and I'll stick it in there, and then you guys will have it that way. So Again, we'll read through it real quick, and then we'll talk about some other ways of getting people thinking about you. So the letter says, hey, so-and-so, we hope everything is going great in your life so far. Julie and I are doing wonderful and are very blessed. We are reaching out to all the people close to us to share some exciting career news in hopes that it may help some of the people that we know. What we're so excited about is our new path, building a business, investing in real estate. Here's how this may benefit you or someone you know. We are working with a large group of investors and have many ways of helping people with their housing needs. If you know anyone that may be looking for homes or looking for solutions with real estate issues, such as having trouble making their mortgage payments, being behind on payments, owing more than their house is worth, needing to sell in a hurry, or any other issues, please send them to us. We can't help everybody, but we can help most. Please trust that we will only make recommendations that are in the best interest of the parties involved. We will keep all information completely confidential and, of course, pay very well for referrals that result in us buying or selling a house. We can be reached best at phone number. You can have them contact me directly at phone number or email. Thank you so much for reading. We wish you the best. Wife and husband, or what did I say their names was? Bill and Bonnie. P.S. We are also expanding our investing team. If you know anyone looking to earn some extra money working side by side with successful investors, please let us know. So take that, utilize it, and here's another thing. Oh, actually, I've got a bunch of chats. So let me answer the chats first. Sharon, you need to be friends with somebody who is in the group already, and then they can add you to it. So, it looks like Rebecca has already gotten you taken care of. Thank you, Rebecca. You are amazing. Appreciate you. So stop that video. And then that's just one way, right? Okay, let me just minimize that for now. Now let's flip over to Facebook. One of the things that I like to do is these simple live videos, right? Live videos, there's a couple ways you can do it. I opened up just a few to kind of get an idea. This is one of the ways that people think of me. In fact, when I was telling you about that family member that had the house that was making them sick, guess what? It was the, how do I put this? It was the mom who owned the house's son, right? Both family members, of course, who had been watching my videos. And when she was talking to him about this problem house, and she was going to be moving in with him for the time being until they figured out a solution, he's the one that said, hey, check out Christian's videos. I just saw him doing a video about helping somebody with real estate. And that's what sparked the conversation with me. So the video that's probably similar to that. In fact, I think this might even be in the house, but let me find out. I'm just going to play this for you.
What's up, everybody? We've got a live flip tour going on right now, and it might sound quiet where I'm at right now, but we are packed with guests. I'm going to show you guys what we've got going on. I'm going to take you into the room that I'm going to be teaching and let you hear Gerardo. He's actually sharing the numbers of the deal right now, so let me show you real quick.
Okay, so this is different. So what I would suggest is if you're going to do a tour, if you're going to do this at the tours, get there early and share it early as said. If you go to a lot of my videos, I've actually done this early because obviously we don't want everybody walking around while the tour is going. I just try and do my best to be respectful on the times that I do it. So that's one idea. While you're at somebody else's property, it doesn't even have to be your property. But let me also find one where it is my property. Let me get back over here. Okay, right here. In fact, this one is for sure. This is the house that I picked up that I helped that family member. So if we just go here. Hey guys, here we are at the other Taylorsville property. Wanted to give you a quick update here as well. So as you guys can see, we have tied in the exterior paint on this one. We also got the windows in the basement. So we decided to leave the windows that were upstairs because they do seem to be high enough efficiency to be worth our while. And then same tile that we did over the other Taylorsville property. So they still need to grout the tile on this one. But they've also started to get the baseboards and the casing around in this property as well. Now this, all right, because of the time, I'm not going to show you this the whole thing, but I do this a lot where I'm just out throughout my day as I'm checking on properties. I just simply share, hey, here's what's going on. Here's what we've done in this property, and just that alone, it keeps the conversation. Like, people are talking to me constantly. People that I don't even realize are watching. Like, I've got a huge family, guys. I've got over 50, I think maybe even over 60 first cousins. So my dad was a part of a big Catholic family, 14 kids. And for me, there's family members. I'm just being a little honest with you guys here. There's family members that I don't really know by name. Like, we know each other. I know of them. I don't know much about them. And when I run into them, sometimes I forget their name. Actually, most of the time. And some of those people are actually connected to me on Facebook. So you think that that would refresh my memory and that would do better. But honestly, there's some of them that that I don't. But here's what happens. It's as if we're really close. Because when I see them at a family party, they start talking to me about the stuff that I was doing last month, the stuff that I was doing last week, sometimes the stuff that I was doing the day before, because they've been watching me on Facebook. Even though I'm not out there watching all of them, they're watching me. So I'm sharing these different things. And here's one that I did want to share with you guys, the whole video, because you guys can do this together. Start connecting with people in the community and just simply find a reason to do a video together. Have them share a little bit about their story and something cool that they're excited about. Because, yeah, it's great if you're doing all this stuff, and you should definitely be sharing the stuff that you're excited about. In fact, if you've got nobody that you're with and you want to do a video, you can simply pull it out and do just a simple live video and just say, hey, I wanted to share with you guys something that I'm very excited about. I've made a career change into real estate, and I wanted to let everybody know so that it may benefit you or somebody that you know. One of the things that I just learned was, blah, 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 and you just go through and share the information and do it that way. However, it's also powerful if you can include and mix it up a little bit. So here's a little video that I did with Gary Norris. And he was talking, we were just having a conversation. And he started sharing about his kids. And I was like, oh, cool. That's awesome. That's a message I want to get out there. Let me do a video real quick. Right? And I just pulled out my phone and I did a live video right there. And you guys can do this constantly. In fact, I see some of you getting really good at it. And here's the thing. I see some of you that are doing it specifically for the EMT, but you're doing it only inside the EMT group. If you do it in the EMT group, the only people that are going to see it are the people that are doing EMT with you. So let me just make this little suggestion. Do it on your personal page publicly, and then share that link into the EMT, because doing it publicly is what's going to actually get the conversation going with the people who can pay you. So I'm going to play this real quick, but it sounds like we got somebody off of mute first. So let me click over here. We got some. Wait a second. You guys can't see my screen again? Let me get this chat up. Somebody type in, are you guys not seeing my screen right now? Somebody type it in, or
not seeing it right now.
You're not seeing it. Man, I'm having some technical difficulties.
Temperature.
Now are you seeing it?
That looks good.
Okay. Well, I apologize. Let me mute some of the people that came off of mute here. All right. Well, folks, this is not going to be the best recording, but you guys are getting the best info. So take it and utilize it. I'm going to play this video real quick, and then you guys will get the point. Hey, what's up, everybody? I wanted to come to you live. I'm actually out here in Orem, Utah, and I'm looking at a property of my good friend Gary Norris's. Yes. And as I was looking at this property and talking to him about it, we started talking about how as entrepreneurs, it's hard not to look at properties strictly for the numbers. And he started sharing with me about his kids and how the next generation is already learning. And he's shared with me about two of his kids. His youngest, that's 16 years old, has $10,000 to put down on a house already. And his daughter, who is 24, already owns 3 houses, and in fact owned 3 houses while she was living with him in the basement apartment. So Gary, tell us a little bit about how you're teaching this next generation.
What is amazing to me is that they're thinking the way they're thinking now. It just amazes me because I wasn't thinking until I was your age about real estate and investing and getting ahead and making a difference. But the daughter has learned well from her mom and dad, and our example, I guess. She bought her first home. She got married 6 years ago, and they lived literally off rice and beans and just piled up their money until they found a home to buy. And they bought the home, lived in the upstairs, rented the basement for a year. And a year later, they moved, bought another home, lived in the basement, rented the upstairs, and kept the other one as a rental. And at this age, she's like she's not even 20 yet. Mm-hmm. And they buy their third home in Orlando, which she's never seen to this day, and they still own it. But they closed on that home at Ridley's Market, a grocery store, where there was a teller at a bank branch that could notarize their documents. They literally bought a home in a grocery store. That's her cool. Third investment property, and she complained because she wanted to be 21 when she bought the house, or under 21, and she had just had her birthday, turned 21 for her third home, and she was like whining to Dad. She's like, Dad, I wanted to be 20 and own 3 homes. I was 21. I think that was the right number. She's 24 now, and now they don't live in our basement anymore and work with us. They have their own home up in Idaho, which is where they live. And then her younger brother, my son, who's going to be 17 in January, he said, I need to beat Sasha. Mm-hmm. Sasha bought a home before she was when she was 19. I want to do it before I turn 17. And he's been working now. He's already tested out of high school, doesn't go to high school anymore. He went one day to high school and got a GED and works full time, just packing money away, and lives in our basement. He moved out for a month, tried to be on his own and pay rent, and came back and was like, I think I'll save money and just pile up money for a house. Well, now he's got 10 grand saved up in like 8 months, and he wants to buy a home before January 24th. And he's like, I need to get a credit partner, but I will have the money for the down payment. Nice. And he's just banking it like right now. And he wants to let those homes, he wants to get a couple of them before he would go on a service mission for his church or a proselyting mission. And he's just got this big goal, and they're doing it. It is amazing that this generation, there are some snowflakes out there, but there are also some big time people who have serious goals that are not sitting on excuses. Yeah. Or victimhood.
Well, and I think it's cool when I watch my friends who are parents who have figured out a way out of the system that doesn't work, by the way, then their kids start following suit. So I think about the Rosenbergs and how their daughters are so focused on, why would I need to go to school when I could start a business? And it sounds like your kids are in kind of that same vein. Why go to high school when I can already pass all the tests? I want to get to work on building a life and a future. And I hope that we can teach more folks to be like that.
Well, I remember you a dozen years ago.
All right. So anyways, guys, you get the point. Just start creating more conversations about real estate, and then be ready for the conversations that are going to come your way. Okay? Because they're going to come. You're going to have conversations that come your way, and that's going to, if you're in the right mood and the right mindset, you're going to project success, and that's great. So we have somebody in here. I still do the old 7 referrals post that's on Facebook. Is that lingo still compliant? Thank you. I believe so. Yeah. I don't know anything that would be wrong with it. So yes, 7 referrals is a great way to do it. There's so many ways, guys, to start these conversations, and I want you guys to do better. If you're doing good, do even better. I know I can do even better. Like I look back at how long it's been before I've done, I used to do videos almost every single day. And here's the thing, the more I do these videos, the more conversations I have, the more people reach out to me in my personal messages, the more people that, that talk to me when I run into them, out on the street somewhere. So do better at creating conversations around real estate, around financial literacy, around all these things, and watch how it comes back to you and reaps huge rewards. Thanks for being here, folks. Appreciate you. Go make an amazing Thursday.